What does Mother's Day have in common with Christmas? Well, when you think of it, they can be the most exhilarating, most beautiful, most exciting experiences in your whole life. You think of, yay! At the same time, Mother's Day and Christmas can be very painful and sad experiences. Because of the pain, the hurt, the missing of your mother, it's kind of the deep joy on one hand can have to the other part the wounding and the hurt and the missing of that fulfillment. Now, for some, Christmas and Mother's Day are those yay events. For others, it's just they try to hide in their home and evade the pain that it evokes in them. And for the rest of us, it's a little bit of both, isn't it? On one hand, we celebrate and we thank our mothers, and we thank all who mothered us and connect to the mothering side of God. How beautiful, how special that is. On the other hand, we also experience the limitations and the struggling and the wrestling and missing mom or not having had the mom we have been longing for throughout our lives. And when you go in the greeting card section in the store to find a Mother's Day card, well, you see a lot of pink, a lot of joy, a lot of excitement. There's not a lot left there for mixed experiences, for both this and the other, for the hurt, the pain. What do we do with that on Mother's Day? Because that is part of who we are and of our whole human experiences. So where are the shades of gray in between the celebration and excitement and the darkness and the pain and the sadness we experience? Well, one says the greatest gifts that a mom and overall parents can give their children are both roots and wings. And today's scripture reading lifts up the roots, the being grounded in the love of God, in the source of life. When Jesus says, I'm the vine that is rooted in the ground, and you are the branches that are connected to the vine which bear fruit. So the question is, how and where are you? Are we all connected to the greater reality, to the vine, to what Jesus embodies? And often that does not just happen. We may experience it through other people who model that for us. But then what do you and I, what do we consciously do? What do we choose to remain connected to the source of life, to the ground of being, to the well of love, to that nurtures us and which we channel through us and unto others? We hope and pray it's not too bad, and that those for whom the rescue services or whoever drove by is on the way, that they sense love and care around them. Now, if we have had and still have some rough experiences and some suffering and some pain and hurt, or experienced abuse at the hand of our mothers, all different kinds of limitations in mothering. It means still there is the opening, the invitation of Jesus who says, "Come to me." St. Augustine, many, many years ago, he had a beautiful quote that speaks to me, where he says, "Our hearts are restless. We're wrestling, it's restless. We just don't quite get what we need, what we long for, until we find that deep peace and that deep fulfillment in the living God." Or someone else said, there are some holes in our hearts that no one else can fill but the living God. And our scripture puts it so beautifully. After this image of Jesus the vine, we're the branches, Jesus turns to his friends, to his disciples, and says, "You know what, from now on, I don't call you servants anymore. I call you friends." So it's not like Jesus the master anymore and his followers subservient, but there is this beautiful friendship relationship, this heart and soul relationship. And sometimes that's the way how we are guided to the energy, to the source of life, to the mothering energy that often friends and best friends we have and we experience, and the best friends we are to others, hold some of that beauty and experience that we may not have experienced otherwise. And where does that mothering happen? Well, it happens in friendship relationship. It happens at the wreck. It happens through coaches, through teachers, through mentors at Girls on the Run. It happens through grandmothers. It happens through neighbors, through aunts and uncles. It happens through so many various forms. When I think today of my mother, what a beautiful gift she was and will always be to me through the seeds of love and of faith and of love for God's creation that she instilled in me. One of the two greatest gifts I received through her that I think of, not just the overall love, was one, when my wife Sigrid and I decided to make the big move from Germany to the United States, and so much was uncertain, so it was a decision of, are we really trusting this? Are we really gonna leave behind mother and father and family and all in Germany? And my mother gave me the freedom and said, "I want for you to find your way." She was not the clinging, holding on, but I see it as an expression of the greatest gift we can give our children, we can give our friends, we can give everyone for whom we care for, to give them the freedom. Freedom is the other side of love. You love wholeheartedly, at the same time you give freedom. Great, beautiful thing that stays with me. Now, Sigrid also knows I have mother issues. And I think I have father issues too. And when I recognize with our children, I made this joke, you know what? I'll pay for your therapy later on to pick up where I left off, because I feel like sometimes I'm not sure. In spite of me, in spite of us, they turned out beautiful. But sometimes I think like, oh my, rolling my eyes, throwing up my hands. If this would have been all in my hands, I'm not so sure. For those of you who are hard on yourself and where you wonder, have you been a good enough mother? I invite you to think of and know deep down in your heart, there are no perfect mothers. It's impossible, and it's not even good. I talked the other day with some people from the community, and I heard that they have their 42-year-old son still living at home. Can you see the mothering, the smothering, the overbearing? Like, if you fulfill the needs forever of your children, you cook for them, you clean for them, you do the wash for them, and so on, you incapacitate them. It's kind of, come on. So we are never called to be perfect parents. Just good enough. Just good enough. And recognizing also that so much is not in our hands. And the last part of this scripture that deeply speaks to me is Jesus says to his friends, to his disciples' friends, I'm coming to bring you joy, that your joy may be complete. Your joy may be full. That's what Jesus wants for each one of us. I think one of the greatest gifts our parents can do, and that we as parents or grandparents can do, is follow our own joy, our own calling, our own energy. What makes you come alive? What energizes you? What brings you joy? When you lean into that, when you open up to that, your children will come alive too. And there is something that reflects on them. So it's never everything in between you and your children. So much beyond that. What do Mother's Day and Christmas have in common? Well, so many mixed feelings, don't they? Let us thank God today, but also surrender, ask for healing, for forgiveness, and put ourselves in the hands of the living God. And let us not forget to dance with it all. For Jesus says, I bring you joy, and your joy shall be complete. Wow. That's good news, isn't it?